Hello again, and welcome to Nine Finger Photography. Today we're going to be doing Photoshop lesson number 2. And if you remember from Photoshop lesson 1, we're going to go into the Start menu, click, go to Programs, open up everything, and we're looking for Adobe Photoshop 7.0. That's Adobe Photoshop 7.0. If you get a message, just click OK. And remember, once we get in, and again, the message comes up, we're just clicking OK. A little hiccup and a giddy up, I call that. Now we're going to go File, New, and remember, we're going to go work from bottom up. We're going to keep the background transparent, change it to the RGB color, always 300 resolution, change it to inches, both of them, I like to do it at the same time. Then the height, we're going to go by 10, and we're going to go 8 inches wide. And we're going to go ahead and save it, Photoshop. S-H-O-P. Oh, and I drug it. So let's try this again. Photoshop. Notice it is hard to type with 9 fingers. Photoshop 2. Click OK. That gives us our document we want to work with, the size. Now I'm going to go File. I want to open up a photograph to work with. And I'm going to open up this one, another picture of Mount Rushmore. Notice it's a little hazy. One thing we didn't discuss in Photoshop Lesson 1 was how to change the image or adjust the image. So if I go Image, Adjustments, and go Auto Contrast, notice how that brightens it up. Another thing we didn't discuss was how to edit, and we can go undo or step backwards. That'll always take us a step back, which is very useful. So I'm going to undo. I have my image there. A couple reminders when, oops, I'll close that. We have our document, our tool palette. One, we can crop this image if we'd like to. But we're not going to do that now. I have it a reasonable size. We always can see the size of the image if we go into Image, Image Size, and it'll tell me it's 6x4. Uh-oh, the resolution snuck to 72. I should check that every time I bring up an object or another photograph. So I changed it to 300. Now remember this, I can go View, Print Size. Alright, so there's what we have. That's the document we want to work with. And this lesson is just dealing with not only with the image, adjustments, auto contrast or auto levels or auto color. Okay, we can adjust the brightness and contrast. Make it washed out. We don't want to do that though. We can play around with that. If you have a photograph that's dark, we can do that. We are going to deal, with making this look like a sketch. Alright, and this is really going to help us learn our layers background. The first thing we need to do is we need to duplicate the layer. Notice I come down here on background, I right click on it, and I duplicate the layer and click OK. Alright, notice we can shut layers off with the eyes. I can just leave my background, alright, but we can close them and open them just by that with a little eye. So I'm going to, notice I duplicated it, I'm going to shut off my background layer. Alright, now I'm going to go with Image, Adjustments, and I want to go to a thing that calls Desaturate. And if I go along the side here, okay, I'm looking for Desaturate. And why am I having a hard time finding it today? There it is, under Hue and Saturation. But it's Desaturate. Click on it. Notice it turns it till it almost looks like a black and white. Then we want to duplicate this. Again, we click on it, right click, duplicate layer. Click OK. It'll automatically name it another layer. Then we want to go to Image, Adjustments, Invert. And that'll make it look almost like a negative. What we're doing with our 35mm program. Then after we're done with that, notice we're not changing anything. We're going to the blending mode. Alright, and that's where you go back to the layers palette. Alright, and it's up here. It says normal, and we want to go to color dodge. It's color dodge under the layer palette. Notice that will go completely away. That's all right. It'll look like a blank image. Then is what we're going to go to, is we're going to go to Filter, Blur, Garrison Blur, and then we're going to scroll this up. Notice how it's going to look, and we're going to make it look like it's a sketch. And whatever works well. You don't want to make it too dark. I like to go around anywhere from 9 to 10 or to 15 maybe. There's 11, looks pretty good. Click OK. Now we want to get that onto another image. So what I'm going to do, remember, let's slide some of this stuff out. Go to my Move tool, slide, click on it, and drag it up into my background. Now notice it didn't all go. If I go Image, remember, Undo Move. Okay, step back, it's over here. Now, you have a clue why, if I click here, it didn't go. Because I had two layers together. I need to go on this little triangle up top here. Let me zoom in on top of the layer palette. The little triangle inside the circle. And I want to go down in what they call Merge Visible. That merged everything. Now when I go to move it, I click and I move it. Everything goes, just not the one layer. Again, we need to put our name, and you can just do this name and period. You don't have to make another text block. You can do it all in one. Period. And your assignment. Okay, I'm going to call it Photoshop 2. Or just maybe Photo 2. I don't know, it's Photoshop. We click and we can go ahead and do something fun with the layer. I might do an outer glow and just go boom, slide these up, change the color on that. If I had blue, let's go with gold. Click OK, and there I have that. The next thing I want you to do is again go and do the same thing with another image. So I'm going to go File, Open. Let's click on this image. Again, we open it. Remember what our step is. We duplicate layer. We turn off the background layer. Then we go Image Adjustments, Desaturate. We copy that layer or duplicate the layer. Click OK. Then we go Image Adjustments, Invert. All right. Then it looks spooky. Remember, then we go to our Color Dodge, which is found in the Layers palette. Color Dodge, and it goes to be completely white, which is normal. Then we go to Filter, Blur, Blur, Garrison Blur. I'm going to zoom back out. I might have forgotten a little bit earlier. Then I just go, it looks nice, a little bit too dark. It'll look a little bit like a sketch. Click OK. Before we go to move it, remember, we have to go in the triangle, Merge Visible. Then we can click on the Move tool, drag it over, and we should have two. Remember, if it comes up small, Control T, hold Shift down, then click on another tool, it'll come Apply. Remember, we can move it. And that's what I want. I would like for lesson 2 to have, to look, and I go View, Fit on Screen. We should have 2 pictures on one image. 2 of our photographs with our name and period. Then remember, we can just go File, Save. We already have it saved. Then I also want to go File, Save As, and change it to JPEG. We want to change it to the JPEG. That way, if we change it to the JPEG, we can open it up on any computer. Click OK. And we should have learned that under working with digital images. If there's any questions, please feel free to go through this tutorial again. And happy Photoshopping. See you next time on 9-Fingered Photography.